This is Channel 8 WMTW, Maine's total weather and news this morning. Live with Aaron O'Valley, Megan Torgerson, and meteorologist Mallory Brooke. Maine's total weather and news this morning continues.
Yeah, it's terrible. It's absolutely terrible. It's shocking.
A circus tent collapses at a New Hampshire fair, killing 2 people and injuring another 22. It happened during a powerful storm, and right now investigators are trying to figure out exactly what went wrong.
More severe weather possible today. The areas that will see the highest threat have switched since yesterday. I'll let you know what to expect coming up.
A fire in York under investigation this morning. The apartment building had to be evacuated and nearly a dozen people are now displaced. Hi there. Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to Maine's Total Weather and News. I'm Aaron O'Valley.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Megan Torgerson. It is Tuesday, August 4th. Let's get right to meteorologist Mallory Brooke. Mallory, we do know that it was a strong storm that moved in quickly, responsible for that deadly tent collapse in Lancaster. Was there any warning? I know you've been talking about it.
We spoke about it most of the day yesterday, that there was a very high severe weather threat for the mountains. Now, there was a severe thunderstorm watch that was issued at about 1:17 in the afternoon, and a watch means that conditions are favorable for severe thunderstorms to develop. It wasn't imminent, but conditions were favorable. And then at 5:23 in the evening, the National Weather Service did issue a severe thunderstorm warning for the Lancaster area while that storm was in Littleton, which both of you can see today with those storms in the afternoon. I'll have more details on that and a look at your exclusive 8-day coming up in 10 minutes.
All right, Mallory, thank you. Continuing coverage right now, that deadly tent collapse in New Hampshire is under investigation. 2 people are killed, nearly 24 more hurt.
News 8's Norm Karkos is live on the scene this morning. And Norm, what can you tell us? What's an update?
Well, good morning to you. There was a circus event scheduled for the fairgrounds here on Monday evening, and we can't see much behind us right now because of the fog, but were those WMTW.com, live here in Lancaster, New Hampshire. Norm Karkos, WMTW News 8.
Norm, thank you for the update. Damage also reported here in Maine. A photo you're looking at, a tree down across Birchwood Road in Jay, sent in by one of our weather spotters, Trevor. There are also down trees in Rangeley, we are told, as well. Over in Oxford County, trees in Freiburg down. Taking a look at another photo from another one of our spotters, Tom Nudek's dispatch also says that a tree fell on a home on Jewett Pond Road. So far, no injuries have been reported. You can see more photos and videos of these storms inside the WMTW app and on our website, WMTW.com. You can also remember to download the Total Weather app for minute-to-minute coverage when the next storm, which we are monitoring, strikes again. New this morning, the fire marshal's office investigating a 2-alarm fire at 242 York Street, right in the center of York Village. The fire started just before 11 o'clock last night. The apartment building was evacuated. Dispatchers telling us that everybody fortunately was able to make it out safely. The Red Cross is helping out 11 people who were displaced.
Right now, the manhunt for an accused cop killer in Memphis, Tennessee is over. Police say 29-year-old Tremaine Wilburn turned himself in last night. He is accused of shooting Officer Sean Bolton on Saturday night. Wilburn was on supervised release after serving a federal sentence for robbing a bank institution. He now faces first-degree murder charges. A steamy relationship allegedly involving convicted murderer Aaron Hernandez at the center of a legal fight this morning. Prosecutors say the former Patriot received sexually explicit letters from a woman named Katie. They say she tried to get him a new trial for the murder of Odin Lloyd by lying to his lawyers, falsely claiming that a juror knew about separate double murder charges against Hernandez and didn't tell the judge. The Bristol County Sheriff says Hernandez received many letters in jail, but none of them raised red flags.
They're primarily looking for any words that might stand out that could suggest some breach of security.
Well, the defense wants a judge to question Katie about information she claimed shows a juror was biased in the Odin Lloyd case. Environmental advocates here in Maine praising President Obama's new clean power plan. Under the new rules, states have to cut carbon dioxide pollution by 32% by 2030.
The nerdier way to say that is that we'll be keeping 870 million tons of carbon dioxide pollution out of our atmosphere.
Maine power plants probably won't see any big changes under the new rules. Maine will be required to reduce emissions by 11% compared to 2012 levels. The Clean Energy Director for the state's Natural Resources Council says the plan is the most important action taken to combat climate change.
A safety warning this morning after a deadly weekend on the roads. 6 people were killed, 3 of them on motorcycles. State police now saying this is dramatically higher than years past. So far this year, there have been 17 fatal motorcycle crashes. That is compared to 6 at this time last year. July and August, typically the deadliest months on Maine roadways because so many people are out and about traveling. Police say that speed and alcohol often factors in deadly crashes.
In Commitment 2016 this morning, Donald Trump surges in several new polls. This after his Republican rivals faced off without him in a voters forum last night. News 8's Nicole Killian is in Washington with a roundup.
Megan, this was a tame forum by most standards as the candidates tried to stand out and test out their messages before the first debate takes place later this week. Noticeably absent, Donald Trump, who is pulling away from his GOP competition in a trio of new polls. All 3 show him with roughly a 2-to-1 advantage over his Republican rivals. In Washington, Nicole Killian, WMTW News 8.
I don't know the specific losers versus winners. I think that each person had their own thing to offer, but definitely certain people were more charismatic.
10 of the Republican candidates will go at it again Thursday night in Cleveland. Exactly which 10 depends on today's polls.
Well, this morning, a Republican effort to shut off federal funds for Planned Parenthood that was blocked. The vote follows the release of secret videos recorded by an anti-abortion group showing workers describing how they sometimes provide fetal tissue for researchers. Opponents say the videos show the group illegally profiting. Planned Parenthood, however, says that it breaks no laws. Well, it is a big sport for Americans, but right now, big game hunters are on the defensive. Zimbabwe authorities are now accusing a second American of illegally killing a lion as outrage continues to grow worldwide. Most hunters keep parts of those animals, bringing them home as trophies, but now airlines like Delta and American are taking a stance against this practice. The airlines are banning exotic animal trophies on their flights. Certainly over the past few days, a lot of people have been talking about this story, and it brings us to our question of the day, asking you to chime in. Do you think big game trophy hunting should be banned? You can join in on the controversial conversation on our Facebook page, Google+. You can always reply on Twitter as well using the hashtag WMTWQOD.
Thousands of dollars meant for local vets stolen. Still ahead on Maine's Total Weather and News this morning, what American Legion commanders are doing to make sure it doesn't happen again anywhere.
And just 15 minutes can impact a farmer's livelihood. Coming up, the Mainers trying to salvage crops after a short but damaging weekend storm.
This morning, we're taking a live look from Lancaster, New Hampshire, as the fog has settled in a lot of areas, especially those that dealt with storms yesterday. I'll have more details on what to expect today, including another round of severe thunderstorms that is coming up in 2 minutes.